Hi everybody, thanks for clicking on this video and welcome to the beginning of my savings, budgeting, and YouTube journey. I am here to represent the hardworking, low-income single parents. On this channel, I experiment with different budgeting styles, savings goals, and I share the strategies I learn as I go. So if that sounds interesting at all to you, please go ahead and click the like button and subscribe to follow my journey. Okay. So it's time to do October's budget, and I have been sitting in this office 4 hours, not doing October's budget, but trying to close out September. So September for me does not end until October 10th because of my pay dates. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, well, since I started it almost 6 months ago, you'll know that closeout has been the thing that I struggle with the most. So if you're new to budgeting, closeout is when you take a look at all the expenses that you've had throughout the month, make sure that you were within budget, see how much you saved. It's just a way to keep track of where your money is going, basically. But so you can develop a better plan for the future, try to save more each month, etc., etc. September took way too long, but we'll go over that on Tuesday, which is the day before payday, because you don't want to close out your budget until the day right before payday, because there'll be more expenses that you need to add and more math, so it's best to just leave it. I started to do it though. I wrote down all the expenses that I've had up until now, so that by the time Tuesday comes, I just have a couple days that I need to add in there, or if I spend anything else. That is a video that's coming up next. I am going to show you October's budget. There's a few things new, a couple new expenses that go into October that I have to figure in. Let me go ahead and show you the process that I use. Okay, so let's first open up to the calendar, because that's the first thing we want to do. All right, and you'll see that throughout the past month, I've just been putting in sticky notes for, things that I know that are upcoming, just so that I don't forget to add them to the calendar, especially if they're not usual expenses. Like my utilities, that's been one that's been hard to track. So I know that the total is $112.22, and actually we paid $75 of that with the last paycheck. So let's calculate how much is left. So there's about, let's go for $40 that we want to pay. So that's the goal for utilities this month. These were all the bills that were due in September. So now October for me, like I said, runs from October 11th through November 7th because of the pay dates. So there are 2 pay dates within the month. So you'll see I've already marked here, I get paid on the 11th and I get paid on the 25th. So those are the 2 paychecks that we will be budgeting with today. I'm going to go ahead and put the stickers in, and then we'll go over how we figure that into the budget. Just grabbed a few stickers that I think I might want to narrow down to use. And this is not going to be a decorative thing for me. This is just fully functional. This is where I do my budget. This is the calendar that I use for that. So it's just going to be purely functional. So I'm just going to put in the stickers on the dates that I know that I need. An easy way for me to do that is to look at my happy planner, because I have already done that for October. And I ended up doing that because it just made it easier to be able to see it on the go whenever I need to look back at something, or if I need to like rebudget, because something else came up. But so I'm just going to use this as my guide. I am going to fix these ones too, because they look funny. Okay, so I always put 2 check marks. That is to show that it was paid and then that it was withdrawn from the bank account, so I don't have to worry about that. So Amazon was actually in the budget for the week that I'm in now, so not next week, but it should be in next week, because I figured out Amazon is due next week and not this current one, but that's okay. I'll just leave the funds in there. I made a new cheat sheet for myself just to adjust some of the numbers that I've decided to adjust in my variable fund, and just to make it a little bit, I want to say neater, but not really, a little bit more organized than the last one that I had. So this is just more up to date. This is the bills that are due in my week A paycheck and then my week B paycheck. my savings. These are my general rules. You know, these are just the guideline kind of cheat sheet of the goals for the amounts that I want to use for each area. My always fund, those are sinking funds that I contribute to every pay period, or that's my goal to at least. I did put little asterisks here. I hope it's probably hard to see. I'll put it up on the screen if so. But I put little asterisks here for the funds that are the most important in case I have a check that's a little lower than normal. So I put my daughter's hair fund, the water bill fund, and my student loan fund. Those will always get something, even if it's a little bit lower. And then I have estimates here if my paycheck is $1,300, and the $1,300 does include some overtime. $1,400 is closer to what I usually make, depending on how much overtime I do. I know that the overtime that will be in this paycheck will be a little bit more than normal, which I'm going to start shooting for more overtime when I can. And then here's a monthly breakdown on the low end and the high end. So even on the high end, I only put one paycheck as $1,300 and the other as $1,400. I didn't want to do them both as $1,400 just because I like to estimate lower than higher. And actually, that's what this month will be. My estimate for this month's budget is that the first paycheck will be $1,400 and the next paycheck will be $1,300. So that's the estimate. And that's just because of how much overtime I think I did during that time period. You don't get paid for my job until a month after you've done that amount of overtime. So I always try to keep doing it as much as possible. And I have not yet checked I know that Saturday is the day that I can go in and check how much my paycheck will be, but I haven't done that because I want to keep to the spirit of October's budget. I should have done this days ago, but you guys know I haven't been feeling well, so I didn't do it. So I'm doing it now. This is just my projection for October. So we're just working with estimate numbers to try to get ahead. So I was trying to show you Amazon is actually due on the 12th, which is in next pay period. But I will just leave that $8 in the bank account and have it pulled out on the 12th. So we won't have to budget with that. All right, let's choose a different color since we're going into a new week. Let's choose these. So I said Amazon's on the 12th. Put that there. Use my cheat sheet, that'll make it easy too. Try to use this more often. So if you guys make yourselves one, you're just putting in your fixed expenses. You're trying to make the total that they fit into almost as even as possible. And some of these places you can call and try to change your bill due date. But I know, like with my car insurance, I can change the date. Sometimes you can pay partial on some of them. So just find out what you can't change first, and then you can be flexible with the things that you can. Like for me, variable expenses can change. You know, so if my paycheck is less than normal, I'll take down some variable funds. Maybe I'll put less in utilities since I have a credit. So you figure things out like that. All right, what else is in here? Payday allowance always gets paid on payday allowance, and that's when I take part of the mortgage out, so I'll put that there. That'll be a 2-for-1 day. And then I have Netflix. On the 13th. Utilities on the 14th. And utilities, we did pay a portion of utilities last pay period, and the bill is $112. I do have a sinking fund with extra money for utilities, which I am hoping to use in the wintertime. So we're going to pay $40 now. This isn't technically $40, it's a little less, but we're going to put $40 in utilities. That's what we're going to budget for. And then if we have any extra, we'll put that into the sinking fund. Probably should have put in the amounts while I went, but that's okay. My phone bill. I have a lab bill due on the 18th. That is one that is not a usual expense, but of course, you know, things pop up that were not in the budget, and I want to make sure I put it in there. And 21st is the credit card. Try to find something this color. The credit card does have, I think, $37 on there because we used it for food. I'm not even gonna lie, but that'll get paid off that day. Okay, so I think that's it for that pay period. Looks like it. So we're gonna go into the next pay period, which is starting on the 25th. So like we said, allowance and mortgage will be that day. Okay. Oh, so we're focusing now on paycheck A bills. That has been done. So the 11th is paycheck A. I'm gonna write that in there. And this is B. All right, and what's next? Car insurance on the 2nd. So again, this pay period is gonna go all the way through to the 7th. So I wanna make sure that I pay car insurance with this paycheck too. And this is, we're speaking of paycheck B when I talk about this paycheck. This is the second paycheck of the month. Their internet is here. And that looks like that's it. And then the 8th and the 22nd of November will be, of course, in November's monthly budget. So let me write out these bills. Kind of hard to see that. But anyway, so the mortgage here and allowance, $20, $430 for the mortgage. I know I made grocery a fixed expense, but I don't really know if I want to put that on here. I'm just going to for now. Yeah, what's due on the 12th is Amazon. $8. Netflix. $8. And I'm just putting the amount that's due, not the extra that we might contribute. Oh, the lab. This is that's $37. Okay, and then for B, we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put utilities in here because I want to put some more in there. Since I have extra that I want to pay in utilities in my cheat sheet, we'll see if it's possible to add that into the actual numbers this month. So car insurance has finally gone up to its original $118. And then this is internet. Okay, go. We have all the stickers and the pay dates. And I'm gonna list them over here just to double check. So I put Amazon in there just because I know it's due within this period, but I crossed it out because the $8 is still already in the bank. All right, let's calculate A's paycheck. $790. B, I know will be less, I think. Clearly, I'm not in the lines, but when am I ever? All right, B, 430 plus 20 plus 170 plus 7. Okay, so the fixed expenses are $1,583 for the month of November so far, from what we expect. So now that we have all of those there and we've separated what's due when, we can take a look at the the monthly projection, the total I'm expected to make, and then we can start subtracting. Because we want to get down to a zero, we do a zero-based budget, which means every dollar has a job. And we want to assign that job before we get paid so that we're not tempted to go off budget or off the rails. Okay, so let's start with a blank sheet of paper. So this is our October monthly projection. Okay, so this is going to be for October 11th through November 7th. And this is just the projection, so the plan or estimate. All right, so I said already that I am estimating paycheck A to be $1,400 and B to be around $1,300. So these are just estimates. So our total estimate is going to be, well, I can do that in my head at least, $2,700. Okay, so that's what we have to work with to pay A and B's bills for the month. So the first thing that I do is I did put 27 up here in the corner, and I'm going to use my monthly cheat sheet to give me a guideline. So savings, we want to put $350 in because we're going to do 175A and 175B. And then we said the bills fixed expense comes to $1,583. And then what's next? The next thing I pull out is my variable expenses. So I project $500 for the month. It's going to be $260 and $240. So these are all A and B. I found that when I tried to do the budget in the past with the whole month, it got a little confusing. So I do a projection with considering both separate paychecks. It makes sense to me. So $790 and $793. Okay, and then I do my always fund. So since the first check will be bigger, I'm going to contribute more in the first check. So you'll see that I did that here too. So the always fund will get the normal $100. And then since the next paycheck is lower, it's going to get less. So projected $160. All right, so let's see where we are so far, and then we'll know if we have any extra money. $107 extra. Let's see. So when considering extra money, the first thing I do is take a look at what my cheat sheet says and what's the most important. For me, it is utilities. So like I said, I want to contribute more to the utility sinking fund for when the winter gets here. So we'll start with that, and my goal for utilities for paycheck A is $100. So far we're contributing $40, so we're gonna get $60 more for utilities sinking fund. Let's see what that brings us to. $47. So with that $47, I know that we have our savings challenge that I like to budget for when I can. And we are down to number 42. So we'll try to contribute $42 to that. Okay, fine. You don't want to go there? You don't have to. You stay right there. Okay, so that's $42. And what's left after that? It's $5. Where do we want to put $5? Let's put it in. I want to make sure I label these. And I don't know how much will come out of each check for these parts, but we'll figure that out. Said $5 is left. Put that into the electric savings. So that is where we're saving for the remote car starter. I'm sorry if I repeat myself, you guys. Sometimes I get new subscribers, so I want to make sure that they feel included and they know what's going on, because electric savings is a weird budget category. But my subscribers all helped me come up with that name for it because I have limited stickers. So that's what we went with. All right, so this is the outline for the budget. Now let's try to make it fit A and B. Okay, so we said A is going to be, start here, A and B. So A is estimating 1,400. So we're going to contribute, that's not right, it's not fixed, it's savings. So savings, and this is just when I break it down and I'm a little bit more specific, so that when I look back and I do the actual budget and my cash stuffing, I know exactly what went where. So you'll see on my cheat sheet for savings, $100 comes out of the main account. This is auto debited, so $100 goes into my main savings account, $50 goes into my daughter's savings, and $25 goes to my car note. If you have not seen that video, be sure to take a look. It kind of shows you how I am able to pay my car note basically automatically for the whole year without having to worry about it. So I said that's $175 for savings. Okay, there's that. And you guys know I will do a better looking version. It's easier to follow. So that brings us down to $12.25. The savings is always first. Always pay yourself first. Always do savings first. Figure out how much your bills are going to be. Figure out how much you can contribute to savings all the time and make that automatic. Make it the first thing that comes out of your paycheck. Send it to another account that you don't look at, so you're not tempted to spend any of that money, because you need to have emergency funds. Okay, so next thing that we do is always the fixed expenses. So for A, we said those are going to be, and we'll get to the specifics. I am going to write it out again. I am a big fan. Why did I just do that? And then I did it twice. I am a fan of writing things out. It's just, I get confused easily. Don't judge me. I just do. Fixed. So fixed is, and I put the Amazon there. I write it in there just so that I don't forget that that's going to come out once a paycheck comes. Okay, so that should take us down to 0. Again, that's the goal for all the categories. Next, we do variable expenses. So since this paycheck's a little more, we're going to do $260 in variable expenses, which is the goal. So I'll be able to contribute each of these amounts. Okay, let's do that. I am so happy to hear that even though I am clearly not perfect, I make a lot of mistakes, I do a lot of erasing, you guys are still able to follow along, and I really appreciate you letting me know that the videos are helping you, because that's my motivation to keep doing them. Like I said, I sat in here for hours trying to do my closeout for September, so it can be tedious. And then editing and stuff, so definitely not only is a motivation for me to keep recording, but also to keep doing my own budget. So it's kind of a win-win. All right, and I don't know why I just wasted my time doing that, because I knew that that was going to be 0. But I did. All right, that brings us down to $175. And then the next thing we do is our always fund. So we're going to contribute $100 with this paycheck to the always fund. That is always the goal here. Always, always, always. And I keep doing that. Why am I clearing out the number that I need? So that leaves us with $75. So what are we going to pull from here? See, this is where it comes in that A and B need to be done at the same time, because I don't know how much money is going to be left in each. But let's get the savings challenge out of the way. Oh, I didn't write out my always funds. Let's do that. And it's important for me to do this because these amounts sometimes change. So I want to be able to know where I can pull money from. Let's say my paycheck comes out and it's actually not $1,400. If it's less than that, then I know I'll be able to easier decide what I can take money from, since it's all written out. And then also, same, if there's more money, I'll have a little section for that, and I'll have a little plan for any rollover, which is any money that I still have from this paycheck that will go into the next one. So basically, this is just making you as prepared as possible. And I'm just showing you that this will zero out too. That's all. And the more that I'm learning, you guys know that I'm on a journey to adulting with ADHD. So the more I learn about myself, the more that I am budgeting. It's kind of like this habit is kind of flowing into other areas of my life because I'm just more attentive to these things. So it's been a good thing all around. All right, so that brings us to $33. And let me just mark that this is for the savings challenge. All right, so $33. Let's go ahead and put the half in the utilities sinking fund. So we'll do 30 in the utilities sinking fund. That gives us $3. Actually, I like to just label the sinking fund again if anything changes. Actually, this feels like a pre-payday prep before the pre-payday prep, because this kind of outlines, no, not really, because with my pre-payday preps, I know exactly how much the paycheck will be. So this is still a monthly budget. I struggle with this too if you've been following my journey. If you have not, go ahead and take a look back from the beginning. You'll see my very first cash stuffing. I've been recording every time. So you'll see how much things have changed and how much I've grown actually. And just the ways that I found new processes to work. So I always do this. First of all, I ripped the page last time I tried to erase with that eraser that does not exist. So we're not going to do that anymore. Okay, and this $3, we're just going to put that into electric savings. It seems like that's pointless, but every dollar has a job. This $33 is going into sinking funds. We'll zero that out, and then we'll specify it over here. And this, again, just kind of helps when I'm doing my withdrawal forms, and this sets it up so that everything else is easier. It seems a little tedious, but it matters. Well, maybe not to you, but to me it does. Okay, and this is going to go into electric savings. And zero that out. Boom, that $1,400 is planned for. All right, so now B is probably going to be the trickier one. We do this on a separate sheet because I still want to be able to see this one. So B's plan is $1,300. And we said that we're going to contribute $175 in savings. I try to touch savings last if I have to change anything. First of all, because it's automatic, and second, because it's the most important. So if I absolutely have to have some more money, I will take out of there, but Try not to. Last resort. Okay, 175, and then we said 793. I mean, it's exactly the same. Y'all already know about my handwriting. Right, that's savings. And then what's next is fixed expenses. I said 793. And it's good that we don't have to calculate that again. You see how all the steps kind of flow into each other? Took a while to get this down, but we're getting there. Okay, 793 fixed expenses. And let's see what those are. Those are mortgage, loans. And I also have, let's see what that equals, 332. I also have, I'm not going to bother doing that math because we already did it over here. So if all adding these up equals 73, then subtracting them will make 0. See, I smart sometimes. All right, 793. Next is variable funds. So this checks a little bit less. So we're gonna have to do a little bit less with variable funds. Like I said, that's one that I can be flexible with. So let's do 240. That might have to change. So I'm not gonna fan these out until I know that the numbers are gonna work out, because you can already see that this went away pretty damn fast as opposed to this one. All right, 240, 92. So already there's not enough for our 100 always fund. So what did I say, 60? Let's see if we can do 60 for the always fund. So we'll do those 3 that I said were the most important. Leaves us with $32. What else did we need to pay? The other half of utilities, and then the $2 for electric savings. So that did work out. It actually worked out. So now I know that this is the way that I will keep doing my monthlies. Go out and just finish cleaning these up a bit now that I know the numbers worked out. So like I said, this is why I write them out, because you see how this paycheck is going to be $240 as opposed to my normal $260. So then I'll know when I do my stuffing, and like I said, if anything changes, I'll know what goes where. With this one, gotta change these numbers a little bit. All right, let's just play around with it. So 50 personal, 30 home. Let's do 55 for gas, which I don't know. Gas I've been pretty good on lately. So let's do 40 for entertainment. We might even be able to just get rid of entertainment, because I'm not even gonna bother taking away from dining, because we always go over. So lately it seems that way. But we did borrow from dining to pay some of groceries and this pay period. So, and I think we did that last time too. So maybe it evens out. Who knows? 240. Let's just see what this is. I don't know. Nope, we got to take $5 more off of something. So let's take. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna do it. We're gonna sacrifice. I'm gonna take it off of dining. I did meal plan, so I will upload that video. That was the second part to my adulting with ADHD. It kind of got pretty long, so I had to shorten that thing. Okay, another example here. Always Fund is only gonna get 60 of this paycheck. That's the projection. Hopefully the paycheck is more than this, but the important ones will get paid. Let's see. Hair is 35, water is 10, and student loans is 15. So that's what we'll pay. And I do have to call today to make a hair appointment since we took her braids out from the last time. I was gonna do it myself, but we just got too busy, and you guys know with my hand, that is not the ideal thing for me to be doing. So I've saved for it. That's how we're gonna pay for it. We're gonna get it professionally done. It'll look better too. So 32 for sinking funds. I don't know why I've written sinking funds different every time I wrote it down. What did we say? $30 for utilities sinking fund, and then $2 for electric savings. Not a lot, but something. Okay, that is October's budget. So let me make it pretty and I'll show you. I can't believe this worked out. Like, oh my god, it worked out, and I only had to erase one time. Look at that. So at least I know now. I know what method works best for me. I have to scribble it first, and then it can look all nice and organized like a normal adult. So my outro disappeared. I don't know where it went, but I just wanted to show you the final October projection. It's probably hard to see. I apologize for my camera quality. It's not the best, but once I can afford one, I will buy a new one. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it as always. I want you to always remember that it is about progression and not about perfection. Thanks so much. Happy saving, everybody. Bye.